Britain in 1940, a nation rebuilding, its factories converting from war work back to family cars, its roads waiting for hope on four wheels. Steel was rationed. Optimism wasn't. Manufacturers raced to reinvent themselves, promising modern motoring for a battered public desperate for normality. Some succeeded gloriously. Others became quiet embarrassments, hidden in garages, sold within a year, or simply endured with gritted teeth. Today we count down 10 British cars that looked triumphant on paper but left owners deeply regretful. And number 1 car on this list still makes historians wince. Number 10. Morris 8 Series E. As Britain limped from war into peace, Morris simply resumed producing its pre-war 8, the Series E, largely unchanged since 1938. Buyers were desperate for anything new, and the 8's low price, simple mechanics, and familiar Morris badge made it an easy, unthreatening purchase for cautious post-war families. But that familiarity came at a cost. The styling already looked dated beside genuinely fresh European designs, and the side valve engine felt tired even by 1940s standards. Owners complaining of sluggish performance were often met with a shrug from dealers still riding wartime scarcity. Would you have accepted a car unchanged since before the Blitz? For many buyers, driving one soon felt like driving backwards into history, not forwards into recovery. An embarrassing start, yet the next car embarrassed owners in an entirely different, more personal way. Number 9. Ford Perfect E93A. Ford Britain also leaned heavily on its pre-war Anglia and Perfect designs, keeping the familiar sit-up and beg shape rolling into the new decade. Reliable and cheap to run, the Perfect became a common sight nationwide, its side valve engine simple enough for any village mechanic to understand and repair without fuss. Yet owners soon discovered miserable weaknesses. Heaters were virtually useless against British winters, cold mornings brought reluctant starting, and rust crept in relentlessly around the wings. What had seemed a sensible choice became a source of quiet, chattering teeth resentment every frosty morning. Some owners joked their Perfect had 2 seasons, barely working, and not working at all. Could you have tolerated shivering through every English winter commute? That frustration was mild compared with what buyers of Britain's most advanced new saloon were about to discover. Number 8. Jowett Javelin. In 1947, tiny Yorkshire firm Jowett stunned the industry with the Javelin, a sleek, aerodynamic saloon powered by an innovative flat-4 engine. Enthusiasts adored its handling, its 80-mile-an-hour pace, and its startlingly modern silhouette. Here, finally, was a genuinely forward-thinking British family car, engineered by the talented Gerald Palmer. Unfortunately, the ambitious engine proved its undoing. Crankshafts fractured with alarming regularity, and gearboxes struggled beneath the strain of Jowett's rushed development schedule. Owners who'd been so proud showing off their futuristic saloon found themselves stranded roadside instead, waiting on recovery trucks while neighbors' dowdier, duller cars sailed past unaffected. The biggest embarrassment was watching your innovative dream car towed away in full public view. But nobody expected what happened next, when an American-styled family saloon revealed its own awkward secret. Number 7. Standard Vanguard. Standard's 1947 Vanguard arrived styled unmistakably like an American Plymouth, a bold statement of post-war confidence built specifically for lucrative export markets. Buyers loved its roomy cabin, 6-seat bench arrangement, and genuinely brisk performance from its wetliner 4-cylinder engine, feeling modern and worldly parked outside English terraces. However, its short wheelbase gave the body an oddly abrupt, drooping rear stance that critics mocked mercilessly. Handling never quite matched the confident looks either, and corrosion around the sills and scuttle became a persistent, expensive headache. Owners proud of their transatlantic style discovered a car that looked faster than it drove, and aged faster than it should have. Would that awkward profile have bothered you at the local car park? That was disappointing, yet what came next proved stranger still for buyers craving prestige. Number 6. Armstrong Siddeley Hurricane. Announced remarkably fast after VE Day, the Hurricane drophead coupe promised aircraft-grade prestige, its name borrowed proudly from the legendary wartime fighter. Buyers were seduced by its distinctive slatted grille, rakish suicide doors, an association with Armstrong Siddeley's respected aviation engineering heritage, feeling genuinely special driving one. Sadly, the timber-framed body construction proved vulnerable to British damp, rotting quietly beneath elegant panels. Corrosion crept through the aluminium and steel coachwork too, while those glamorous rear-hinge doors gained a nervous reputation if opened at speed. What felt like flying soon felt like managing a slowly decaying showpiece. A quick like always helps preserve these forgotten motoring stories, if you're enjoying this countdown so far. The biggest embarrassment was still to come, and it involved Britain's cleverest new small car yet. Number 5. Morris Minor MM. Alec Issigonis unveiled his revolutionary Minor at Earl's Court in 1948. Its taut unitary body, rack and pinion steering, and torsion bar suspension astonishing the motoring press. Excited buyers praised its brilliant, sweet-handling chassis, calling it the finest driving British small car of its generation, genuinely years ahead of anything else on sale. Yet management had stripped away Issigonis's intended flat-four engine at the last moment, replacing it with an ancient 918cc side valve unit borrowed from the outgoing Morris 8. The result embarrassed everyone: brilliant handling wasted on breathless, wheezing performance. Owners found themselves crawling up hills that lesser handling rivals climbed easily, wondering why genius chassis engineering had been sabotaged by penny-pinching decisions from above. Do you think buyers expected better from such an acclaimed design? The strange part came later, when a proud sporting marque's ambitions outran its own resources. Number 4. Alvis TA14. Alvis restarted production in 1946 with the TA14, essentially reviving its respected pre-war 1270 chassis under a one-model austerity policy. Buyers trusted the Alvis name for quality engineering and craftsmanship, and the four-cylinder pushrod engine delivered dependable, if unexciting, performance for discerning professional motorists. The trouble was ambition outpacing infrastructure. Coventry's bombing had destroyed most coach builders, leaving Alvis scrambling for bodies from whoever remained available. Buyers often received cars with inconsistent panel fit, mismatched finishing, and noticeably old-fashioned engineering already looking tired against genuinely new post-war rivals. Paying premium prices for what felt like yesterday's car stung deeply. Missing the remaining entries means missing some of Britain's strangest automotive stories from this remarkable decade. However, the next car embarrassed owners through sheer conservatism rather than mechanical failure. Number 3. Austin A40 Devon. Austin's A40 Devon, previewed at the 1947 Paris show, became the company's first genuinely new post-war saloon, promising modern independent front suspension. Early buyers appreciated its practical four-door layout, respectable overhead valve engine, and Austin's reputation for solid, dependable engineering across Britain and growing export markets worldwide. But the press response stung immediately. Journalists openly criticized its conservative, old-fashioned appearance despite the technical updates underneath. Combined with a short wheelbase and rigid rear axle, ride quality disappointed drivers expecting genuine post-war progress. Buyers felt they'd purchased tomorrow's technology wrapped inside yesterday's suit, a compromise that quietly gnawed at their pride whenever parked beside flashier rivals. This problem looked minor compared with what waited ahead for luxury buyers. You'll understand why after the next entry, involving a genuinely troubled gearbox story. Number 2. Riley RMB. Riley's larger 2.5-litre RMB, launched in 1946, promised near 100-mile-an-hour performance wrapped in coach-built elegance and traditional Riley craftsmanship. Enthusiastic buyers loved its twin camshaft engine, rack and pinion precision, and genuinely brisk acceleration, feeling they'd secured a proper sporting saloon amid Britain's austerity gloom. Yet the ash-framed body construction demanded constant vigilance against rot, and weak synchromesh meant gearboxes wore prematurely under enthusiastic driving. Owners who'd paid handsomely for prestige found themselves nursing temperamental gear changes and inspecting timber frames for hidden decay, an unglamorous reality behind the elegant badge. Would you have accepted maintaining a wooden-framed car through wet British winters? This unhappy inconvenience colored the ownership experience of otherwise wonderful engineering. That was frustrating, yet the final car embarrassed owners most publicly of all. Number 1. Bristol 400. Bristol's 1947 debut, the 400, borrowed heavily from pre-war BMW engineering, wrapped in beautifully hand-finished coachwork built by an aircraft manufacturer. Wealthy buyers were drawn to its aviation-grade construction quality, sophisticated straight-six engine, and genuine performance credentials, feeling they'd purchased something aristocratic and rare. The embarrassment came through eye-watering pricing that placed it far beyond typical family budgets, alongside painfully slow production numbers that frustrated even patient customers. Waiting lists stretched agonizingly long, and buyers sometimes discovered rivals offering similar performance for considerably less outlay. Owning one meant enormous prestige, yet also constant questions about whether the expense had truly been justified. That final entry closed our list on a note of luxurious, expensive regret. Britain's rebuilding decade produced remarkable ambition alongside genuine disappointment, engineers reaching beyond wartime limitations toward futures they couldn't always fully deliver. These regrettable cars weren't failures of imagination, but casualties of austerity, rushed development, and a battered industry finding its footing again. Their mistakes quietly shaped the reliable, confident British cars that followed throughout the 1950s. Which of these 10 surprised you most? Let us know in the comments below, and tell us if your family ever owned one of these forgotten disappointments. If you enjoyed this journey through automotive history, please hit like and subscribe to Britain Rewind for more amazing videos. Britain's motoring past deserves remembering, mistakes and all.